fantastic emoji stories. Shakespeare's School of Laughter, a time-traveling extravaganza.
I'm a sophomore in Mrs. Henderson's third period drama class, and trust me when I say this, our class was the epitome of monotony. We were the sort of bunch that barely knew Romeo from Juliet, and frankly, didn't much care. Then came the day that turned our dull class into the craziest, funniest, and, believe it or not, most educational period in the school's history. We were about to start another day of aimlessly muddling through Romeo and Juliet when our well-meaning but exasperated teacher, Mrs. Henderson, made a wish. She wanted none other than the legendary playwright, William Shakespeare, to teach us his works. What happened next was straight out of a Hollywood movie. There was a blinding flash of light, and when our eyes adjusted, there stood Shakespeare himself. His authentic 16th century garb seemed ridiculously out of place amid our sneakers and snapbacks. The shock quickly turned to amusement as he gaped at our world like an alien who had just landed on a strange planet. His comical reactions, especially when Jake snapped a selfie with him, had us doubled over with laughter. The bewildered look on his face was priceless, and hashtag Shakespeare's Shake was trending on TikTok faster than anyone could say to be or not to be. With Mrs. Henderson practically worshipping at his feet, Shakespeare, forever the bard, took center stage. His attempts to converse in Shakespearean English and explain the depth of his plays, however, were met with more chuckles than understanding. His befuddled expressions and clumsy handling of our technology provided an endless source of amusement. However, in the midst of all the laughter, something unexpected happened. Shakespeare, in his determined spirit, decided to speak our language. He began weaving modern concepts and slang into his lessons. Suddenly, Romeo and Juliet became a dramatic love story between two TikTok celebrities from rival influencer families. Macbeth morphed into an unputdownable thriller featuring a power-hungry Silicon Valley CEO. Othello turned into a chilling story of jealousy and manipulation in a high school basketball team. The laughter subsided as we found ourselves engrossed in these age-old stories. Slowly but surely, we began to appreciate the literary genius of the man we had been mocking. The experience became more enlightening and fun with each passing day. One of the highlights was the day Shakespeare attempted to conquer TikTok. Dressed in his doublet and hose, he performed a viral dance challenge. His moves were so absurdly over the top, we couldn't stop laughing. It was like watching a duck try to do ballet. The video blew up, racking up millions of views. As the days passed, our initial ridicule for Shakespeare was replaced with a sense of camaraderie and admiration. When the day came for him to leave, we threw him a farewell party like no other. Our rendition of A Midsummer Night's Dream, with a modern twist, was a blockbuster hit. The applause at curtain call was deafening. When it was time for Shakespeare to return to his time, Mrs. Henderson, finally coming out of her star-struck stupor, realized that her wish-granting pendant was a two-way ticket. A simple wish to send him back was all that was needed. However, before he left, we gave him a parting gift, a photo book with our class photos and a special flip book with the TikTok dances just for him. And so, even though Shakespeare returned to his time, he left a lasting mark on ours. From our raucous laughter, the viral TikToks, and the eventual admiration we held for him, our class was never the same. Shakespeare, for us, was no longer a stuffy old writer from a bygone era. He was a fellow student, a friend, and most importantly, the unwitting star of hashtag Shakespeare's Shake. His hilarious journey through time wasn't just a fun adventure, it was an experience that made us realize the timeless relevance of literature, the universal appeal of humor, and the unfathomable depth of Shakespeare's genius.